I've been telling you guys all week that we were going to get into LeBron James being woke again. And we're going to do that today. I'm going to combine what I saw earlier this week with woke LeBron with what happened the other night with Kyrie Irving. Also, and I never asked you guys to do this, but I'm going to do this today. Make sure to watch the entirety of this video. We're going to get into television ratings for the NBA in just a few minutes. And I'm going to share something with you guys that you're not going to believe. It is hard proof that people will watch players in the NBA who stay out of politics. All right, we'll get to that in a minute. Let's go ahead and get into it. I'm sick of the NBA. I used to love the NBA so much. And look, I still watch. I'll watch the playoffs in a couple of weeks, but the amount of attention that I give to the NBA is starting to become less and less. And you want to know why? Guys like Kyrie Irving, guys like LeBron James, and to a certain extent, guys like Kevin Durant. Now, I just named three of the biggest superstars in the NBA. They're three players that are destroying the league. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. I say on here all the time that one of the biggest problems in the NBA is the star players are not relatable. Most of us, guys like me and you, we can't relate to a guy like LeBron James who cries about police brutality from his mansion in Calabasas that, oddly enough, is guarded 24 hours a day by former police officers. Or a guy like Kevin Durant who goes on these tirades on social media. Anytime someone mildly criticizes Kevin Durant, he becomes a man-child and throws a temper tantrum. Kevin Durant has the thinnest skin of any professional athlete. But the example that I'm referring to today involves Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving. One of the most talented players in the NBA. Great athlete. Very gifted. He should be one of the centerpieces that the league can build around. There is not a marketing firm in the country that could successfully market a business around Kyrie Irving. A dude that has flown all over the world and still believes that the earth is flat. A dude that would rather be a political activist than use his God-given abilities to play basketball. But he has no problem cashing those million-dollar checks. Kyrie Irving is a symptom for the overall problem in the modern NBA. Adam Silver's the real problem. Kyrie Irving is the symptom. Earlier this week, Kyrie went on another one of his "I'm not talking to the media" bans. Now, just to be clear, NBA players are required to talk to the media. This is not optional. You don't get to talk to the media just when you feel like it, and refuse to talk to the media when you're not in the right headspace. Which for Kyrie Irving, he's not in the right headspace 90% of the time. So Kyrie decides that he doesn't want to talk to the media. Now, mind you, this isn't the first time that this has happened this season. Keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Kyrie refused to speak with the media back in December, right as the NBA season was beginning. Now, at the time, he said that he didn't want to speak to those pawns, that talking to the media distracted him from his main focus, which is basketball. Kyrie Irving's main focus is basketball. Like, I'm supposed to believe that? I would believe that if it came from LeBron James. I really would. I would believe that if it came from James Harden. But Kyrie Irving, main focus basketball? The guy who goes on several sabbaticals every year, to clear his mind. He missed damn near the entire month of January on a sabbatical. But during that time, he had the time to jump on some ridiculous Zoom call with some social justice activist. He found time to do that during a Nets game. Yeah, instead of supporting his team like a good teammate would, he is busy talking about the great myth of systemic racism with police. Now, you know what the punishment was for Kyrie Irving refusing to speak to the media earlier this week for the second time in 4 months? Now, you do it one time, A light punishment's fine, understandable. You do it twice, it's becoming a pattern of behavior. You know what his punishment was from Adam Silver in the NBA front office? A $35,000 fine. And they also fined the Brooklyn Nets. I don't know why you fined the Nets. What the hell did they do? Take the Nets fine and give it to Kyrie Irving. Adam Silver fining Kyrie Irving 35 grand is laughable. It's the equivalent of you refusing to speak to your boss at work and your company fining you $3.50. The punishment means nothing. Adam Silver, you really sent a message with that harsh punishment on Kyrie Irving. And I'm sure all the other players in the league are real scared of you now. This is what I mean when I say that players in the NBA have far too much power. LeBron James likes to talk about accountability when it comes to the police, but there's no accountability in the NBA. Adam Silver is weak. He doesn't hold these players responsible for their actions. Look, Kyrie Irving not talking to the media, it might not seem like a big deal to a lot of you guys, but it's part of a larger problem. Take the UFC, for example. How do you think Dana White and the UFC get people interested in their pay-per-view fights? Through the media. That's why they hold pre- and post-fight press conferences. The fighters, they talk a bunch of trash to each other through the media, getting people interested in buying the fight. It used to be like that in the NBA too. I can still remember Shaq calling the Sacramento Kings the Sacramento Queens. It added interest to their playoff series. I still remember it vividly, and it happened almost 20 years ago. You don't have sound bites like that in the NBA anymore. When is the last time we got a good sound bite out of the NBA? These modern NBA stars, they are god awful at marketing the NBA product. LeBron James, he's too busy worrying about pushing social justice and equality. LeBron James is more concerned right now with people remembering Ma'Khia Bryant. You know, Ma'Khia Bryant, the black girl that was trying to stab another black girl to death and ended up being shot by the police. You know, shocker. The police actually did their job and saved someone's life. But to Queen James, that equals systemic racism. He is now expressing regret over the tweet that I told you guys about several times, where he posted a picture of the cop that saved that black girl's life with an hourglass and said that you're next. Now, you would think he regrets that tweet because of the message it sent, which was a threat against that cop. If you think that, you would be wrong. LeBron James regrets the tweet because it stoked more hate and it fueled the wrong conversation. Well, what did you think was going to happen? See, this is what LeBron James doesn't realize. You no longer have any credibility, dude. You have lost all credibility with at least half the NBA audience. This is the problem when professional athletes dive into political issues. It's a no-win scenario. The only outcome, you lose. And it is killing the NBA. I mean, it is killing the NBA. Ratings for the month of April have been released. And my God, it was ugly. Now remember, the NBA is coming off record low ratings last year. That's what they're comparing this year's numbers to, last year's numbers. Last summer, we thought it couldn't get any worse for the NBA. There was nowhere to go but up. Well, because of guys like Kyrie Irving, LeBron James, it's gotten worse. What I'm about to show you is very interesting. I'm about to show you how a political player like LeBron can destroy the NBA, and a superstar who stays out of politics can actually elevate the league. The April 24th game between the Lakers and the Mavs on ABC, Saturday night, prime time, the return of superstar Anthony Davis, the Lakers, LeBron James's team, even though he wasn't playing, the Lakers are one of the premier franchises in the league. Historically, they always draw ratings. Even if they suck, people want to watch the Lakers. That game drew 1.89 million viewers. It was one of the lowest rated games in the history of the NBA on ABC. Games on ABC are averaging a record low 2.8 million viewers this season. It is even worse for ESPN and TNT. The April 14th doubleheader on ESPN was watched by less people than AEW. If you're wondering what the hell AEW is, I understand. I didn't know what it was either. Most people have never heard of it. AEW is professional wrestling. Yes, the NBA has become less popular than professional wrestling, fake wrestling, and not even WWE sort of mainstream wrestling. This is a wrestling company that is underground. Most people have never heard of them. April 13th, the NBA doubleheader on TNT. They averaged 724,000 viewers. I don't even have to explain to you guys how pathetic that number is. The Challenge on MTV, what a lot of people consider the fifth major sport in America, I watch The Challenge all the time. They draw more viewers than 724,000. The NBA is in rough shape. But the thing is, they have a savior sitting right under their noses. Someone who proves if you stay out of politics, people will get behind you. They'll watch. They'll be interested. That someone is Steph Curry. Steph Curry has been on fire this season, and fans are paying attention. They played the Celtics on a Saturday night a few weeks ago. Game was on ABC in prime time, just like Lakers Mavs. 2.5 million people tuned in. It was the most watched game on ABC since the Warriors played the Nets back in February. Matter of fact, of the 10 most watched NBA games this year, the Warriors have played in 5 of them. Now, let me put that into perspective for you. The Golden State Warriors should be an afterthought this season. They have been a sub-500 team all year. They are 9th place right now in the Western Conference. In a normal year with no play-in game, the Warriors wouldn't even be a playoff team. My point is, no one should give a damn about the Golden State Warriors right now. So why do they care? Because Steph Curry has stayed away from politics. Draymond Green, one of my least favorite players in the NBA, he stays out of racial politics. Even Steve Kerr, who borders on woke sometimes, he has stayed out of politics this year. It proves the point that I have been hammering for the last year. Politics and sports don't mix. LeBron James and Kyrie Irving have killed the NBA to a point where they're less popular than some second-rate professional wrestling company. If you would have said something like that 10 years ago, no one would have believed it. I mean, this is unbelievable when you think about it. We're talking about a league who just 20 or so years ago was drawing 30 to 35 million people for the NBA Finals. 10 years ago, they're drawing 5, 8, 10 million people for some regular season games. And in 2021, they can't even draw 1 million on ESPN and TNT. They're less popular than professional wrestling. And what's Adam Silver doing about it? Nothing. He continues to allow Queen James to speak on racial politics, and he allows Kyrie Irving to do whatever the hell he wants. Now, what do you guys think about AEW wrestling being watched by more people than the NBA? Can the NBA recover from this? What I pointed out about Steph Curry and the Warriors, how people are actually watching them even though they aren't playoff contenders. Does this prove that guys like LeBron and Kyrie are going woke, are going to kill the NBA, or are killing the NBA already? Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com. KC_BTL84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys this weekend.